I am inevitable, and I am Iron Man. Oh my god, I cannot tell you how much I cheered for that line. I love Iron Man. I told you last time in my last video that Iron Man is my favorite hero. And this was just one of a ton of moments that just solidifies his role at number one on my list. Tony Stark is huge right now. With the release of Iron Man in 2008, he has just become explosive. Robert Downey Jr. nailed this role. So if you're like me and watching this movie and loving the character and want to pick up one of his books, but you don't know where, that's where I'm here for. It's another Where Do I Start video. And we're talking Iron Man today. In my last Where Do I Start video, we went to the very beginning, where I told you about the wonders of the Silver Age. For this video, let's fast forward. The year is 2010. The dark reign of Norman Osborn has finally ended, and Steve Rogers is back from the dead. The heroic age has begun. This was a fresh start for the universe, with a lot of possibilities. But there's only one character I want to talk about today. Tony Stark, Iron Man. Iron Man is known worldwide right now. He has always been in the Marvel Universe, starting all the way back in the 60s. But it wasn't really until 2008 when he hit superstardom. Yes, he's always been around, and yes, he's been important to a few different lines. But after the release of Iron Man in theaters at 2008, his popularity exploded. The Heroic Age was a fun time for Iron Man and Iron Man readers. Most exciting for me was the introduction of the Bleeding Edge armor. I mentioned in my last video that this is my favorite Iron Man armor, so I wanted to expand on that just a little bit. Tony has had a long history of making sure his suits are available at all times. First, we had the briefcase. Well, in 2006, the game was changed completely. The Extremis story arc was a game changer for Tony. Now, I need to explain a little bit about Extremis. Extremis was a serum that bioengineered the human brain and remapped it to whatever purpose that you could set. It was essentially a computer program that changed the chemistry of the human body. This was used to turn people into weapons. Tony used it differently. He used it to be a better Iron Man. He, first of all, can literally think and be connected to the internet. He can think and be connected to any of his satellites. But very specifically, he could think and control the Iron Man armor, which includes bringing the plates to him. Now again, this was in 2006. Fast forward 4 years, we're into the Bleeding Edge armor. He changed the Iron Man concept yet again from the ground up. Building upon what he built with Extremis, he went a step further. This Iron Man suit is with him at all times. What I mean by that is it is liquefied in his bones. Literally, he could think, and the entire suit would envelop from within him. It was insane and gave him so much control. No longer could he be separated from his armor because he was his armor. It was a huge step forward and one of the most futuristic armors that we have seen. And I freaking loved it. It wasn't just his new armor that I loved though. We had a lot of really cool stories, but I don't want to give too much away. One of the biggest stories that we saw was Stark started his own company. And yes, there was always Stark Industries, but in the world where we were at, Stark Industries had gone down. So Tony wasn't super rich anymore. He has a startup that he called Stark Resilient. Resilient was Tony's attempt to get the repulsor power that he had to himself with the Iron Man armor and get it out into the world. They made phones, they made cars, they made alternate energy so that the world could prosper from what Tony had made. When his superheroing got in the way and he felt that the company was at risk, he moved complete control of the company over to Pepper Potts. The big question is, of course, why here? Why 2010? What makes this a good jumping on point, and why would I, as a new reader, want to read it? Now, of course, as always, this is going to be a question that you have to answer for yourself. But no fear, I'm here, and here's a couple of my thoughts on the matter. The Heroic Age is a good jumping on point for a lot of reasons. It was a time of rebranding after the Dark Reign. The entire universe felt new and fresh yet again. Many of the lines went as far as to restart all the way back at number 1. I really like the Bleeding Edge armor, and I loved the stories that we got with the new company. And don't worry, for all you Pepper Potts fans out there, there is a lot of rescue love in this story as well. I do believe that the author Matt Fraction and the artist Salvador LaRocca did a fantastic job on this one. So you decided to read Iron Man in the Heroic Age. Honestly, that's a great pick and a good idea. But now you're thinking to yourself, what do I do from here and where do I go? Well, you've got a couple options. First, you can go to your local comics book store and try to find the individual issues. They really shouldn't be that expensive, so it shouldn't be that hard to find. I know a lot of people are super purists and say that you can only read single issues and trades aren't worth it. Honestly, I feel like that's a little pretentious. Personally, I love trades. There's a lot of stories that I was able to read because of a trade back paperback that I wouldn't be able to read otherwise. So I have no problem with trades. I also really like the way they look standing up next to each other. So what you're going to want to look for is this book right here. It's the Stark Resilient Volume Number 1 book. Now, there's a little bit of a trick to it. This is volume number 5. This is actually right in the middle of the Invincible Iron Man line that started at issue number 1 in 2008. But we're starting 2 years later in 2010 during the Heroic Age. That's when the Bleeding Edge armor came in, and that's where we're going to start off. Of course, you can also use Marvel Unlimited. I use it all the time. It is so handy for when I'm, out and about and I have time for a 10-minute read, but I don't want to go digging for my book. Boom, right here on my phone. But to do that, you're going to have to know what numbers to look for. Because again, this is right in the middle of the line. So you're looking for the Invincible Iron Man from 2008, issues number 25 through 33. But it's not over there. They actually decided to restart and kick up the legacy numbering system at issue number 500. So it actually goes issue number 25 through 33, issue number 500 through 27. After that, which is another about 2 years, is when we kick into the Avengers vs. X-Men storyline, and they restarted the numbering system one more time. But that's a story for a different day. As always, I'm doing this for you. I hope that you're enjoying these, and I hope that you get some value from them. If you have any questions about why I picked a line, or what line should I talk about next, let me know. Hit me up in the comments below, or as always, there's Facebook and Instagram. Guys, I love doing this, and I really, really hope that you get some value from it as well. If you could just do me a favor, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell, and share with your friends. That would be so helpful for me. Now, as always, true believers, Excelsior, and till next time.